Can I just say it's a great Beach Boys song? It's a great Beach Boys song. It's not the best Beach Boys song, but it is a great Beach Boys song.
What's the best Beach Boys song?
Bodies in the sand, tropical cake melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Coco, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahamas. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go to the Coco? You can make it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Welcome to Nerds Chatting, movie, TV, comic chat. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerd Chatting podcast. My name is Nate, and with me today are my two good friends, JB and Ben. How you doing, boys?
Hello, Nate. I am fine. I would like a little bit more enthusiasm. Normally, I'm all excited when you say that little intro, but today it felt like I got monotone Nate.
I'll bring it up. I tell you what it was. It was tentative because there was a network lag. Ben was speaking but moving at a different time, and it's happening again. So that's why I was a little bit like, okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So,
right,
So, Ben, how are you?
Sound better.
Oh, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. A little bit of consistency, please. Just pick who you're going to say you introduce first, like week on week. No. Come on, because
it depends which side of the screen you're on. Like, so.
Oh, right.
No,
Does it?
It keeps me on my toes, Ben. It means you've got to be in. You've got to be in on the button. As soon as he says the name, you've got to recognise you're the first name, and you've got to be like, yeah, hi, how you doing?
Play by my own rules, James. Play by my own rules.
Well, that's why you're probably going to get chucked off the pod soon. Going to change it from Nerds Chatting to Nate and JB chatting.
There's at least a sister pod there, isn't there?
I'm only joking, Ben.
So, should we get back to the show? I feel like we should get back to the show. There's a little bit of infighting going on here, a little bit of behind the curtain, but here's the show. We are Nerds Chatting. We chat about all things nerdy, movies and TV shows and comic books and sometimes computer games and that sort of stuff. And this is our Broken News and Nerdscene week. It's a week where we just chat about stuff that's going on and stuff that we've been watching and reading. So should we get to the Broken News?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Broken News.
So this is Broken News. It's not breaking. It's so old it's already broken. And we're going to give you our opinion on it. First bit of news. Terribly, terribly sad. Irrfan Khan died.
Yeah.
Just awful. Fantastic actor. Had no idea he was ill. He made it big, he made his first introduction to Western audiences in the movie called The Warrior, which is a BAFTA-winning film, which I saw when I was at university, and that's where he put his name on the map for me. And it's excellent. And then he's gone on to do all sorts of things like Life of Pi, Jurassic World, Amazing Spider-Man, Inferno, Darjeeling Limited, Mighty Heart. I mean, he's just great and just terrible, just awful loss.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He was Bollywood star, wasn't he, before he broke it into Hollywood. So yeah, it's a real shame. It's a real shame. Did he have was it a brain tumor or something, or some really rare form of cancer?
Yeah, he had a very rare form of cancer. Yeah, very rare form of cancer, yeah.
I mean, he was only 53. 53 that's too young. That's too
Not
young.
old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's
so very sad. I mean,
shame.
in the sea of sadness at the time we've got, it's another sort of another blow. But we soldier on, memento mori, and all the rest of it.
Yes.
So I've categorized the news into 3 sections, and we'll start with miscellaneous. How's everyone happy with that?
I love a miscellaneous.
I like a
miscellaneous
section. Yeah.
So there was a trailer this week for a is it a TV show? I think it's a TV show, or is it a movie?
I think it's
a
a
TV
movie.
show. It's a TV show. It's a TV show, isn't it?
Much debate.
I think it's
So,
a TV show.
You say what it's called. I'll look it up on IMDb, and we'll go from there.
Go on then.
It's called Spaceforce, and it is a TV show. Well done.
1-0 to
coming to Netflix on 29th of May, and it's Steve Carell running Spaceforce, the new NASA United States government agency to get stuff into space, and it looks very funny. I thought.
Oh, it does.
It does look very funny.
I believe good cast as well.
Yes, there is. There's an incredible cast, actually. Yeah, incredible cast. People like, obviously, Steve Carell, Noah Emmerich, John Malkovich is in it, Ben Schwartz, who's in Parks and Rec and things like that. Who else is in it? I'm just trying to think. Jimmy O Yang, who plays Jin Yang in Silicon Valley. JB, you and I watched that, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the guy. Oh, isn't he the guy that wants to take down Pied Piper?
Yeah, he's always trying to exploit it, isn't he, and do things like that.
He is very funny in that.
Yeah, very good. I can't believe I didn't know anything about this TV show until this trailer that was put on the podcast notes today, and I was like, "Oh, a trailer! I better watch that before we talk about it in the podcast."
Yeah,
and it's coming out in like 2 or 3 weeks. That's amazing.
Yep. It is.
Netflix, they turn it around, don't they? They really
they
turn it around.
They are chucking out some good stuff at the minute. I feel.
Yeah, they really are.
And it's coming thick and fast.
Yes, it is.
So I'm happy about it. I mean, I think the funniest bit about the trailer for me and Ben, as we were warming ourselves up to the pod, you've already mentioned it, but the fact that Steve Carell is hilariously singing and dancing to the Beach Boys song is absolutely epic. You know, it's just that sort of, it feels like this is his happy music time. He's having a really bad day. Have either of you guys got a happy music? If you're feeling down, that you want to listen to some music?
I do.
Yeah. In stereo, I had that. Ben, first, if you were having a bad day at work and you were to put a song on that would make you feel in a better mood, what would you put on?
Oh, probably a little bit of probably something with a lot of like quite a quick tempo, something like a Primal Scream, Get Your Rocks Off, or something like that. Maybe I don't know, just off the top of my head, that just jumped in there.
Sure, okay, Nate, what are you thinking?
Well, I have a country playlist, country music playlist, which I really enjoy. But at the minute, I'm really loving Wildwood Kin, their latest album. That's a really good. That's a real pick me up. They're a local Exeter band who've made it quite big. Been on like Radio 1 and stuff. And that's what I'm into at the minute. Nice.
Yeah. But if that's what you're into at the minute, but if there was something that would be to your go-to, would it be a country?
Yeah, probably it'd be country. Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
think so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice.
I really like the poster for Space Force because I think the outfit that Steve Carell is wearing, I don't think is a million miles away from the official Space Force outfit, which is like a camo outfit. Because Space Force is actually a real thing in the United States.
It is. Can everyone hear Ben?
James, nope, I can't hear Ben.
No, Ben, you've gone quiet again. You're muted.
I did mute. Look at that. That's crazy. What's going on there?
Happened to you earlier.
Yeah. Strange. What I really like is the outfit that Steve Carell's wearing because I think it's not a million miles away from the actual Space Force outfit that the current president of the United States has actually got his current Space Force people wearing. Because Space Force is a real thing. It's a real branch of the United States military that the president of the United States, POTUS, as we'll probably call him, as his nickname is, has spun up. So Space Force, whilst this is a comedy, it's based on the fact that the president wants a Space Force, wants a branch of the military to operate in space.
It's really nice to see Steve Carell back in comedy TV.
Yes.
Feels like a bit of a homecoming. It's good.
Yeah,
The last-
definitely.
The last film I saw him in was, oh dear, is it The Vice? No.
Oh yeah, he was in Vice. Yeah.
Yes,
He also did
not
that,
The Vice. He was Rumsfeld, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He
He
did
was
one
very good in that as well.
where he was a puppet maker, which looked really good, which I didn't get to see. Where he was dealing with PTSD, and he makes like Action Man puppets and takes photos of them. It looked
Right.
really, really interesting. Looked like a sort of a dramedy. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
dealing with some
I'm
deep stuff, but
Gosh.
funny as well.
trying to remember what this was called. Welcome to Marwan or something like that, was it?
Yes, I think it was. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard good things. Heard good things.
Shall we move
Okay.
on to the next news story?
Yeah, I
please.
think we should.
So apparently they're going to reboot Pirates of the Caribbean because it's been so long since we last had a Pirates of the Caribbean film. Faces being pulled. I mean, it's radio, but still, the people's faces are being pulled by both of you. And the news is that they are eyeing up Karen Gillan to lead this film series. I mean, she's the Disney So Hot Right Now person, isn't she? That's why it's her. I mean, she's good. She's great, obviously. But it just feels like when Jennifer Lawrence was so hot right now about 5 years ago and was in everything. Let's give it to Karen Gillan.
Because she's so hot right now. Yeah, okay.
She is pretty cool though.
It's fantastic.
I thought she was excellent in Doctor Who, and I thought she was excellent in Guardians of the Galaxy and the other numerous Marvel films that she was in. So why not do it? She needs to ride this wave. This is the moneymaker time for her now. She can retire in, I don't know, give her 10 years. She'll be able to retire because she'll have. What do you reckon? 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies on her belt?
Yeah. Well, have you seen the Jumanji movies?
No, I've never seen the original. This is another. When was the original Jumanji? Is that around the 80s, 90s?
95 maybe.
Yeah,
96.
well, in the trailer for it, I believe there is a small scene of a massive spider. So I was completely tapped out at that point because I didn't want to see it. So I have not seen the new Jumanji movie and or the original Jumanji movie because of said arachnid.
So the second Jumanji movie, which is the first newest one I've seen, and it's excellent and it's funny as hell, and she's great in it. And apparently the third Jumanji movie, which is the second of the new ones, is also just as good.
Really? Isn't it got Can You Smell What the Rock's Cooking, Dwayne Johnson in it?
Yes, and he's fantastic in it too.
I saw a little bit of. I should put this in Nerdscene, but I did watch a little bit of San Andreas the other day.
Oh yeah.
I think I could watch that. I think I could enjoy it.
James, you have mocked me. You have mocked me for my love of The Rock, right? The Rock is terrible, and you know he's terrible, and you know his movies that he does are terrible, but at the same time he's brilliant. He's great fun. Everyone knows what they're getting when they get a Rock movie. Go on, Ben.
Well, because we have Disney Plus now, my daughter is watching Hannah Montana episodes because they're on Disney Plus, and it was really.
You've muted again. You've gone mute again. Your mic is just constantly muting.
I don't know what's going on there.
You're running out of battery.
What's going on? Sorry. I'll plug in. Let me plug in. Hang on.
Whilst he's not talking, I'm going to talk about The Rock as well. No, he's back. I'll hold off a minute.
Hello.
Okay, so we've got Disney Plus in this house. My daughter is watching Hannah Montana reruns of it, and it's so old. It's still got like the bars down the side, so it's not.
Oh, it's 4:3, is it?
Yeah, it's not even in HD. Anyway, long story short, The Rock was in an episode of Hannah Montana, and it was The Rock before he bulked up.
Oh yeah.
My God, he looks so strange.
Mate, well, it's a bit
so strange.
It's a bit like you after you shaved your hair, and then your face looks peculiar because he's a man mountain now.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Now it is. Yeah, now it is. Anyway, so is The Rock going to be in this remake of the Pirates of the Caribbean, or is it just going to be Karen Gillan?
No, it's just Karen Gillan.
We've gone on a long walk.
Yeah, we have. We've gone a long walk. Yeah.
Can I go a little bit longer with this walk as well? Because I saw something from Dwayne on Twitter recently, and I think it's on Facebook as well, where he is singing the song that he has in Moana, and his daughter doesn't realize it's him.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
He's watched Moana, sees the character that he played, which I think is Maui or Mau or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's singing. She's like, "This is great. You sound just like him."
Oh, that's brilliant.
But we've gone a long way. Can we bring it back?
Right.
Bring us back
next news story.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't care about a new Pirates of the Caribbean film. Not that fussed.
I reckon it'll be great fun, and it'll be in the vein of Jumanji movies now rather than Pirates movies. I think it'll be a shift. It'll be a shift in gear. Anyway, moving on. So apparently, I should have followed Spaceforce with this news story. So apologies for the mix-up. But just imagine we're back talking about Spaceforce and how great that is.
Yes.
Tom Cruise is officially the first ever astronaut actor. He has been officially announced by NASA that he's going to shoot a film aboard the International Space Station.
Shut the front door.
They are going to send Tom Cruise to the International Space Station and shoot a film up there.
They better look after him. That's all I'm going to say.
It might be the end. It might be the end of Tom Cruise.
Better not. He would find a way out of it, wouldn't he? We'd all think it's a part of the movie, but it'd be real life. Oh my God, how horrific would that be?
What film is it going to be? Do we know what film it's going to be?
We don't know, but it's not one of the new Mission Impossible sequels. So they've announced 2 Mission Impossible sequels, Mission Impossible 7 and Mission Impossible 8, cleverly named. So MI7 is going to be in November 2021, and MI8 is November 2022, which is kind of cool. It's like back to back, so there's something going on there.
Haven't they been delayed now, though? Possibly.
Yes. But that's when they're pushed back to. Maverick has been delayed to December this year. But so this is his film that's coming after the MI 7 and 8 movies. It's insane. It's at the next level, and it's so funny because it's the kind of it's like a joke, isn't it? It's like, everyone says about how the stunts that Tom Cruise does, and the last Mission Impossible film, he broke his leg because he jumped off a building, and it's like, he's so crazy with all the stuff he does. He's actually going to space.
There is absolutely no way on this earth that he would get any kind of insurance to go to space.
Well, he'll be producing it, right? You've muted again, but you're muted again.
That must be costing absolutely billions to get him to space. Come on.
Yeah, well, he'll be paying for it, and he'll be producing it, right? Because that's just what he does. It'll be what Tom Cruise wants to do.
I wish I had that sort of power. I really do wish I had that sort of power. It would be amazing.
Yeah. Next news story. Any more thoughts on that one, or should we move on?
Tom Cruise is insane. Move on.
So, who here in this virtual room saw the movie Bright?
I didn't, because it's shit.
How do you know? You haven't seen it?
I've seen a trailer, and that tells me enough.
Oh, JB, we do not judge a book by its cover on this podcast.
And it was directed by the person that did The Suicide Squad, which is also crap.
David A.
So
no,
give David A a bit of a
some
break.
good stuff.
David A, he did Fury, which was pretty good. I will say that I thought Bright was fine. I think what we said about it, Ben, is it tried to do too much. Like, it should have been like 3 movies. It was like it tried to do. Well, anyway, Bright 2 is coming, and the director of The Incredible Hulk, Louis Leterrier, who also did the Transporter movies, I believe, is going to be directing it.
Huh. Excellent. And is it coming straight back to Netflix? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I feel like it will have more of a action, fast-paced feel than Bright did. With when they were making an announcement that Louis Leterrier is going to be in it, I feel like it's going to be more of a action caper, whereas Bright was a bit like trying to be a high fantasy story set in gritty LA.
Yeah, it didn't really know exactly what it wanted to be, did it? So
No.
it didn't it didn't really quite land, but it's not shit, JB. I won't have that. I'm not having that. Not having it. You should watch it.
It's actually a really interesting universe. It just happened to be a bit of a bad story.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I haven't watched it. If it's on Netflix, I'll put it in my back catalogue of things that I need to watch.
Okay. And now I should have followed the Tom Cruise story with this one. So I feel like I'm again. Imagine you're winding back.
No, there's no continuity in this today.
No, that's true. I chucked this together while I was working today. Okay, so
no, you did it this morning. You gave it out this morning.
So while we're sticking with crazy people,
yes,
and actors that will do crazy things, Nicolas Cage has signed on to play Joe Exotic from Tiger King in a CBS scripted television series.
Well, Ben's got his mouth open and is gobsmacked at this because he's seen the Netflix, the Netflix documentary. I have yet to see it. Nate, have you?
No, I haven't seen it. It's been on in the room when I've been in the room, and I'm aware of it, and I'm aware of the insanity of it, and I've caught clips of it and stuff. This is going to be something.
You're not kidding.
This is striking while the iron is hot, right? Like at the minute, Tiger King came out at the absolute perfect time because everyone was locked down. Everyone had to watch something on TV, and there was this new documentary which is gripping and hard-hitting, right? So it's right now. It's, if you want to talk about so hot right now, this is so hot right now. And the fact that Nicolas Cage is in it, stroke of genius, absolute stroke of genius to get this going.
Okay, so I'm reading up on this. According to Variety, Nicolas Cage has signed on to play Tiger King's Joe Exotic in a new scripted iteration of Exotic's life story. Show run by American Vandal's Dan Lagana. I don't know who that is, and I've not watched American Vandal, although I hear it's very good. The series will be produced by CBS Television Studios and will be shopped to networks within the following weeks. Yeah. My God!
Yeah,
this is just insane.
Now, again,
I can't actually think of anyone better to play Joe Exotic, though, than Nicolas Cage. I think it's possibly the role he was born to play without knowing it.
You shoot Tom Cruise into space.
Yes.
And you shove Nicolas Cage in the tiger cage.
Absolutely brilliant.
What world are we living in? What is happening?
I don't know.
2020 plays by its own rules.
But on the Tiger King theme, I believe that did you know that Louis Theroux interviewed him, Joe Exotic, back in, I think, 2012, maybe 13, 14, roughly around that area. And the document, I think they're re-showing it this weekend. I remember watching it because it's linked to just people having wild animals at home, like chimpanzees and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Within the documentary, you see this chimpanzee go absolutely berserk, and you do not want to be anywhere near it. It will rip your face off. It's
James, would you say it goes ape shit?
James. Would you say it goes bananas?
Oh my God. Absolutely brilliant. Mate, you guys are beginning to get my silver back up.
Oh, bum. We're the worst. You know, anyone listening to this right now just hates all three of us.
No, they don't. They're listening and they're going to tweet and go, how many other sort of monkey jokes could we have squeezed into this little segment?
I would love anyone's a monkey pun on Twitter.
Hashtag monkey pun.
Yeah, get it out there. Right, I think we should move on to some other news story.
Yes.
This will be brief because Ben doesn't care. It's just you and me, JB. So the next movie in the Disney live-action remakes, I think we kind of suspected this, is Hercules.
Yes.
What do you think, JB?
Do you know what? This could be the first Disney live-action remake that I might like. Now, I've not seen The Lion King because I just don't think it would do it justice, and I love the cartoon so much. I remember watching a little bit of The Jungle Book, and it just wasn't the same. So I'm going to reserve my view until I've seen a trailer, be a little bit more detail about who's going to potentially star in it? Do we know anything about that
No,
yet?
we know nothing. We know nothing about it.
Okay, so well, actually, it's saying here big names including Ryan Gosling, Idris Elba, and Ariana Grande.
They're maybes.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, who would play Hercules?
Yeah, it's a good question. Do you
This
get
is
a
it.
nobody?
It's all about the casting, and they've got to be pretty buff, haven't they?
Mm.
Why do they bother? Seriously, come on, Disney. Why bother? I mean, I know make money,
show me
but
the
come
money.
on.
No, there's a clause in Disney's will that says they not necessarily the remakes have to happen, but like the movies have to be released every 7 years or something, which is why they get the DVD release every few years, and it's like the new release. That's in Disney's will, like they have to re-release them. So I think that's part of it. JB,
I'm going to rephrase my live action because Mulan looks absolutely awesome as well in the trailer.
Yeah, I was just going to reel off some of the live remakes
mate.
and see if you thought about them.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea.
So, Lady and the Tramp came out, which no one knew about or saw.
No, it's on
came out
Disney
in November.
Plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Mulan looks amazing. Can't wait for that. It should have come out by now, but not come out. Cruella is coming out. Should have come out last month. Sorry, in March should have come out. But
who's playing Cruella?
It's Emma Tom. Yes.
Emma
It is
Stone.
Emma Stone. You're right. Yes.
Okay, Emma Stone.
Little Mermaid is being made at the minute. They're making Jungle Book 2. You know, Jungle Book came out. What else did we have?
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, which is pretty good.
Bit scary, though. Bit too scary.
Yeah.
What's the one with the horns?
Maleficent.
There you go. And the second one was terrible.
The second one was horrendous. Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Didn't you go to the cinema and see that, Nate?
I did, yeah, and it was a right letdown. You had Lion King. Trouble with Lion King, as you said, James, is it's just not the magic of the first one.
It's iconic. The first one was iconic.
I tell you what was good.
Go
Aladdin. Aladdin was really good.
Shut up, really?
Really good. I recommend you watch it. It's really fun.
I've seen it with the kids. I think it's the one live action Disney film I've seen all the way through. It was fine.
So we've got another link here because of Bright and Will Smith. Was Will Smith good as the genie? Because all I know is Robin Williams could never be beat.
Yes, that's very good.
Yep.
Is he?
Yes. Yeah. He brings something new and different to it. He's not trying to be Robin Williams. He's Will Smith.
Okay, but I feel that he would try to bring his character from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to be the genie. Is that any true? No?
A little bit, but he's more dad-like. You know how he's like grown up and he's a dad now. He's kind of bringing that dadness to it.
Okay.
Whereas I think Robin Williams is Aladdin's pal in the animated one. Whereas I feel like Genie in this one is more pal / daddish. Ben, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Last bit of miscellaneous news.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the trailer. Thoughts?
Well, go on, Ben. You go first, please.
Or are you sure? Because you sound like you had a really good point to make there, JB.
I've always got a good point to make, but
disagree.
I watched this, and for about the first 10 seconds, I thought it was a film.
Yeah.
It's a
good trailer.
I mean, it got the hair. I mean, it got the hairs on the back of my arm, up my neck. I was kind of like, "What's going on? This looks amazing." Then I looked again. I was like, "It's a bloody video game, isn't it?" I mean, I'm gonna go down the arcade and put a couple of 20p's in, get on the red and yellow button, and get on there and play it.
Wow.
It looked absolutely awesome.
God, you're so old.
It looks. There's no gameplay. There's no gameplay footage. It's all.
That's true.
Yeah, or unless it is game engine, don't know. But yeah,
isn't it supposed to be for the next generation console that's coming out at the end of the year? Because that's when the game's coming out at the end of the year. So isn't it one of the first games for the next gen console?
Could well be. It says holiday 2020, whenever that is.
Ben,
I mean,
if that's the case.
Yeah,
that is the case, Ben. I'm going to start saving my money now and telling my wife and kids that I'm not going to see them for 2 to 3 months towards the end of this year, because I think, and you may never see me, I might even take, what is it when you can speak to work and you can take like 3 months off? A sabbatical. I'm going to ask for one of them. This game looks so good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it looks incredible. What I'd like as a sequel to this would be some sort of samurai Assassin's Creed game. That would be good. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, looks pretty good. I think it's one of those ones where I'm interested to see what the actual gameplay looks like. But I've liked most Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed games. There were a couple that were a bit like, samey. But I really like the second one, and most of the ones with Ezio. Black Flag was absolutely fantastic, and then I hear some of the ones that came after that were similar to the ones previous. So good games. Right, we've got a whole Marvel section here.
Well, this sounds good.
There's 3 things in it. So they've announced a new show. I mean, pausing everything, but at the same time announcing a new show. They're going to be releasing IronHeart on Disney Plus, rumored to be scheduled for production late next year. So IronHeart is a young character who took over from Iron Man for a short period. The character's name is Riri Williams. She is very, very popular in the comics. Really, people really like her. Really like the take on her. She's she's young, which is key, because they've also got WandaVision. I was thinking of WandaVision, which is likely to have Wiccan in it.
Yes,
and Hulkling. You've also got Hawkeye, which is likely to have Kate Bishop, young Hawkeye, in it. Like you said, Miss Marvel, who is a young character. So you get all of these out, and then you do Young Avengers, the TV series.
I'd like that.
Yeah, and you get a cameo from whomever becomes Captain America from Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? Like, that's how you do it.
Are you sure you're not writing for Marvel?
I should be, shouldn't I?
So, I mean, you should do. I mean, you really, really should do. Or maybe actually, and then send some of that to DC, and then they might make some decent movies as well.
Burn. Sick burn. I think this is really great. I think it's really great that they're putting so much stock into TV shows and Disney Plus in particular. Side note to this, and we'll get to Star Wars section in a minute, but did you happen to see the May the 4th be with you Hope trailer for Star Wars?
No.
So I didn't put it in the news here. It was about 2 minutes long as a video, and essentially it's just a video advertising Star Wars. But the point of it was that they've obviously edited it together recently because, we need hope right now, and we need to be together and courageous and take care of each other. So it was about hope. And what was really interesting for me, I thought, was that they intercut between the movies and the TV shows. So you had animated characters then cutting around between the movie characters as well, and not just the Skywalker saga, but also the Solo and Rogue One and things like that. And the point I'm trying to get to is that Disney are putting a lot of stock into their animated shows, their TV shows. With Disney Plus, they're putting a lot of effort and weight onto it. They're saying they're categorically saying, you like Star Wars? Well, if you haven't seen Clone Wars and you haven't seen Rebels, then you don't know the whole story. Yep. And so that's what gives me hope here, is that it's not just you've got to go to the movies, to the cinema to watch the MCU. You're actually going to enjoy some rich stories that are actually relevant, unlike, dare I say it, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, which were good and entertaining, but didn't
their own thing.
Their own thing. They didn't bring anything else to the MCU. So I'm talking a lot here, but I'd love to know what your opinions are of this. But the fact that they seem to be announcing constantly new show. I think I really think it's a great thing.
Ben's yawning. I thought he was about to say something.
I was yawning. Sorry.
I will say that I think Disney Plus need to start doing this, because they haven't had any or it feels like they haven't had any new shows, decent shows, apart from maybe The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So, and we're obviously waiting for. Oh, Ben's got his finger up, but I will just continue. But there are. I mean, there are. We know there are shows on the horizon, but there's nothing like brand new, great, and awesome, or that I can think of. But I feel that Ben is going to correct me. So, Ben, please correct me.
They released the last season of Clone Wars.
Your mic's low, mate. Your mic is too low. That's it. Yeah, sorry.
How's that? Is that any better?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
They released the last season of Clone Wars very recently, so that was something new that they'd done. But yeah, they haven't sort of come out, every week since Disney Plus has been out every month. They've gone, oh, new show. That hasn't happened. You're right.
We're talking about at the start of the pod what Netflix seemed to be doing, and I guess Netflix's web is much bigger because they're having a multitude of different things. It's not just one. Whereas with Disney Plus, you've got Star Wars, Marvel, National Geographic, and then
Disney.
all of the Disney stuff. It's a lot of old stuff that you can watch on demand, which is fantastic. But that new stuff to keep you interested. I mean, can you ever get bored of Star Wars? Nah, not really. Not in my world. So
JB,
yeah.
Let me interject though.
Oh,
with another bit of news from our Marvel section.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Now you say they haven't released lots of stuff, and Netflix is getting stuff out quickly. Well, on the 15th of May, Fury Files is hitting Disney Plus.
Wow.
Which
what is Fury Files?
It's a number of motion comic art and scene from animated TV shows like Avengers, Earth Mighty Heroes, and X-Men the Animated Series, bringing together. You shouldn't be surprised that Nick Fury has files on every single Marvel superhero. Fury Files gives viewers a top secret access to S.H.I.E.L.D. intel on key Marvel heroes and villains. All of this told by none other than the mysterious Fury, bringing together a mix of animation and motion comic art. Looking to download a bunch of information about every single hero? Fury's got you covered. So they're hitting you with a bit of something now, like get you over the bump. They're like, they know you need something. Here's a bit of Fury, and it's gonna be tied in.
What does this mean? Is this going to be origin stories for all of Marvel heroes or something?
Do you know what? It might be perfect for your girls.
Well, it might well be, but for Lois, anything Marvel. Well, we'll get onto that later. Let's talk about that later. But I mean, this is exciting. I'd like to know a little bit more on what. I'd like a little bit more meat around this. I'm excited. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this would be cool. But if it's going to be linking in from like the X-Men animated series, is it picking out everything from those that seasons of X-Men, which is what? 4, 5,
no,
maybe?
JB, no, I don't think it'll be doing that. I think it'll just be doing MCU sort of stuff. But then talking about what has been, so it'll almost be like a filler for people who haven't gone and watched the previous 21, 22 MCU films.
Yeah.
It'll be a very quick to bring you up to date on who all those people are involved in that, heroes, villains, and then maybe some of the upcoming things like a Riri Williams IronHeart, like a Miss Marvel, like a She-Hulk, or it might give you a sort of a flavor of what's coming as well. So I don't think it's going to go into X-Men yet because they haven't introduced that as part of the MCU yet. Yeah. So
all right,
take your time, but I think they will get there.
It feels like a top trumps TV series to me.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good way of describing it. But it's just nice that it's nice that they're getting some stuff out there. I think you're spot on that they need to get some more content on there because otherwise they're going to get viewers dropping off. But you've had Mandalorian, you've had Rise of Skywalker, and you've had the Clone Wars final season. So you've had some Star Wars stuff getting released in there. But yeah, it'd be nice to get some of those MCU things out there, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
careful what you wish for though, because it will come thick and fast soon. Within the next year, there'll be so much on there you won't know what to do with yourself.
Oh, I will. I'll watch it.
Sabbatical. JB's way of he hits it hard when he decides to watch a show.
It's a family trait by the looks of things.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stuff online that we can watch, this is my last bit of Marvel news. So, New Mutants. Will it come out? Won't it come out? Will it come out? Won't it come out? Yes, it's coming onto video on demand. So finally, it was supposed to be in cinemas, then it wasn't, then it was delayed, then Marvel bought Fox, then it was never going to come out, then they were definitely going to release it in the cinemas, then COVID had happened, now, and they've said, no, it's definitely going to come out in cinemas. Now they've said, well, no one's actually announced this yet, but someone found it for pre-order on Amazon. It's now been removed from there, but we know that it is coming to video on demand. They can't do it on Disney Plus because of the deal between Fox and HBO.
Right.
So it can't be a Disney property. They can't release it to a Disney channel, but it will be coming to an online streaming platform soon. So we're going to have to do a podcast about this, just for the whole cultural aspect of the fact that it's been delayed so much. We're going to.
The first trailer came out in 2017.
What, Ben? Shut the front door. You lying to me.
Okay. No. Yeah, no, that's fine.
So I mean, it's just got to happen. It's got to happen soon.
It's now I mean, this is the best marketing ever, isn't it? We're just kind of like, I don't think I wanted to see it, but now I'm going to have to see it.
Absolutely, yeah. Ben, what do you think about it?
I want to see it. I really want to see it because I want to know what it is, because I know it's supposed to be mutants and scary, and X-Men go back to some sort of weird boarding school and they're all locked in and they're all in trouble. But I just want to know what it is, because a trailer can lie to you. The trailer looked interesting when I first saw it, like 3 years ago. But I want to see it, so I'm desperate. I hope they can sort something out soon and we can get it in our lives, because I feel like if there's one thing that we should have been able to watch during this entire lockdown, it's this. And the fact they haven't been able to...
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was going to say, the fact they haven't been able to sit down in a conference call among some executives and thrash this out is appalling to me. It really, really is. It's not going to make money.
It's going to be so average. It's going to be so average.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course it will be.
Proper average.
Right, last bit of news.
Oh, have we got some more?
Just one more, and it's Star Wars, and it's Mandalorian, and it's Disney Plus. And this is just a really nice bit of an announcement. Peyton Reed, who directed Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2, or Ant-Man 2, or was it Doctor Strange? Wait, he did do Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
Yep. And Robert Rodriguez, famous for all of his mariachi movies, are both directing episodes of The Mandalorian Season 2. Great news.
Excellent.
I think... Oh, do you know what? Oh, my God, there's a piece of news we haven't gotten here. Oh, my God, there's a piece of news we haven't gotten here that I've just remembered.
Go on.
All right, we'll get to that.
No,
Let's do this
it's more important than this. This is great. Yeah, ignore this, though.
Oh, okay.
Taika Waititi is doing the next Star Wars movie.
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh.
God, I can't believe we didn't put that on here.
Well, I don't know. Why are you using we? You're the one that did the menu. You've only got
I
yourself
can't believe Ben didn't put it on here. I blame him
completely my fault. Completely my fault.
Yes, this is big news.
Lots of names there. So we've got Peyton Marie, we've got Robert Rodriguez, and we've got Taika Waititi, all doing big Star Wars stuff. I mean, Star Wars is back on track, right? I mean, it had a little wobble, maybe.
No, it didn't.
Well, I would say
it didn't.
Think about this, right? Solo was half made, and then they had to reshoot half of it again.
Right.
Rogue One was half made, and then they had to reshoot load of it again, even though those of it was released in the trailer. They fired their directors on both of those movies. Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, divided audiences. Like literally half the audience was split for liking and hating it, and then The Rise of Skywalker came out, and it had so much criticism about its handbrake turn, change of direction from Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker. I mean, we've talked about it to death. It's great, fun, entertaining, but it's not very good. Ben's just disagreeing with me.
Yeah,
Star Wars has had some bumps in the road, but Mandalorian was excellent. Just you're right, James. Just It was above the rest. The fact that we've and we had Taika Waititi involved in that. The fact we've got Taika Waititi involved in the next Star Wars movie. We've got Peyton Reed, and you've got Robert Rodriguez in Mandalorian season 2. Yes, back on track.
Have you talking of new stuff on Disney Plus? Have you seen that they've got like some sort of documentary or series talking to all the directors of the Mandalorian for season 1?
It's weekly released called Gallery, I believe,
Yes,
and we are going to watch that tomorrow. I think is on our.
That looks really, really interesting.
Yeah, Jon Favreau, one of the main people to be interviewed.
Is he? I saw what looks like a small. I think I just saw a trailer for it. It looks like he's almost orchestrating the table and talking with them. And is it? Oh no! Is it Bryce Dallas? Is that right?
Yeah, Bryce Dallas. She directed an episode. Yeah.
She's in there as well. Like it just looks quite cool. I'd love to just see like all these big director types having a chat and just say, this was my take on it. Because if you going back to the first season, like there was a great theme all the way through, but each episode was unique.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So have we talked all of the news?
Ben, did you want to talk about The Walking Dead or not?
Oh well, the fact that there was what was it, like a little release about the final episode of The Walking Dead season 10? Whatever it is, 10. 10 feels like 10. Yes. Yeah. There's a bit of a big spoiler in the trailer, though, isn't there?
Yes.
So we probably shouldn't mention that. But
I want you to mention it because I don't know what it is.
We'll tell you off air. We'll tell you off
fair
air.
Enough. Okay.
But it looks this probably should have been in the miscellaneous bit, but never mind. It looks the last episode of season 10, which was delayed because it was still in production, or post production when the quarantine came in. So COVID-19 pandemic, everyone had to go home, so they couldn't finish work on it. But it's all shot. It was just like in post production, as I said, and they just released like what was it, 2.5 minutes of footage, JP, or something like that, and it just looked brilliant. It just looked brilliant.
Did you not love Father Gabriel's chat that he was giving, and then the analogy is using his hands of like my fingers are weak individually, but then if I've got this and this and this, and then he gets a clenched fist, and that is much more powerful. I thought that was absolutely a brilliant piece of writing.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that analogy used before. In fact, Robert Baratheon uses it in Game of Thrones, where he says, "What is it?" He says like five armies, and then he goes one. So when he's talking about like the Seven Kingdoms, actually, he's talking about the Seven Kingdoms on all these different armies, and he's talking about the Dothraki being one and being so many of them, and how they'd smash all those armies to bits. So I've seen it done before.
Has he got 7 fingers then?
I beg your pardon?
Has he got 7 fingers?
Yeah, yes, he has. Yeah, Rob Baratheon. Cool. All Baratheons have 7 fingers on each hand. Anyway, no, but it was a very inspiring speech, and it was good because obviously those two little kids are looking at tens of thousands of dead zombies outside, or walkers outside, and then he very quickly makes them feel better. It was a very good piece of footage. I'm salivating to watch it. There's no news on when it's coming out.
No, I agree. The kids looked like they were shitting themselves, as I would.
Indeed.
Scary. Yep.
Right, let's do some nerd scene then.
Yes.
Nerd scene.
This is Nerd Scene. This is where we talk about things that we've seen and watched, and it's a play on words, but I've probably told you that before, and we're in lockdown, so I won't bore you with it. But if you really want to know, it's about scene and scene, the 2 words, but yeah. And so I think we should take it in turns. Should we take it in turns? We've written a list where I've done mine, James has done his, and Ben's done his. But I think I'll do one, and then I'll hand over to James, then I'll hand over to Ben, and then we'll keep going like that. I think that makes it flow a bit better.
Yes.
Yeah. So I read a book by Kurt Vonnegut called Slaughterhouse Five. Have you guys heard of it?
Nope.
It is a science fiction biography World War II drama, anti-war book.
Sounds like a load of fun.
It started out quite hard to read, and it's only a short book. I think it's about 300 pages, something like that, 200 pages. No, it was short. And about halfway through, I was like, "Nah, I'm really digging this." It's the author is a fictional author in the book, and that author comes up in lots of his other books. And the character, so the author is telling the story of writing the book, and then in the book there's a character, and the character in the book is in World War II, but the author writing the book was also in World War II, so they cross paths sometimes. And the character in the book, inside the book, is displaced in time, and it's a story about how narrative can be written in different orders. It's almost like the proto Pulp Fiction, and it's great. It's really, really good, and it's nonsense, and it's hard hitting, and it's about a real life thing that happened, the bombing of Dresden, where, did you guys know this? But we, the Allies, bombed the city of Dresden literally as a demoralizing act. There's no military benefits to bombing Dresden. It's a beautiful city full of art and culture, and it was innocent people, and it was right near the end of the war, and we firebombed it and killed 130,000 people.
It was a war crime, basically.
It was a war crime, and it's a great book that highlights that. Kurt Vonnegut, apparently a lot of his books have this sort of split narrative storylines, and he's working on how narrative can be told in different ways, and he has these space aliens called the Maladorians. I've said that wrong. It's something like that. They're these they look like they've got plunger feet, and their whole bodies are an arm with a hand, and in the palm of the hand is an eye.
Wow.
Maladorians. I don't know, something like that. It's a good book. I enjoyed it a lot. James, what is your first nerd scene?
Well, my first nerd scene was not something quite as in depth and as detailed as you, but I watched a Channel 4 documentary on the truth about Amazon.
This is really interesting. You told me about this the other day. Yeah,
it is really interesting, and it was filmed. It started filming before the pandemic, and then continued filming during the pandemic. And basically, the story, the documentary, is based around people's need and necessity of using Amazon for deliveries and for Amazon Prime, and why we use Amazon and our preconceptions about using Amazon. So one of the things that they contacted, or they had two families on there, and they asked them why they did it and how much they spent a month. They both said, "Oh, I think something around £200 a month on Amazon," which is a lot. Actually.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
But what they're using is I think they're using Amazon for literally everything, like makeup, blah, toiletries, etc., etc.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
When they actually analysed it, they they had spent a lot more. But the interesting thing that they uncovered really was people's thoughts. They trusted. I think there's a survey that was done in America that they trust Amazon more than they trust Tom Hanks.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's things like when you shop on Amazon, do you think you're getting the best deal and the best price?
Normally, yeah.
Yeah. So would you go, if you were to go, I'm going to buy some, I don't know, what am I going to think about buying? Some kettlebells. I don't know why I've thought of kettlebells. You go on Amazon and you see the price for it. Would you shop anywhere else for it, or would you just stay on Amazon?
I would say it differs, but 8 or 9 times out of 10, I'll stay on Amazon.
Right, Ben?
Probably Amazon, just for convenience.
There you go. And that's what Amazon is sold on, is sold on convenience. Now, they go into and they show the techniques that Amazon use to get you hooked and prices and things. Now, I remember asking you, Nate, a few months ago about, is there an app that tracks price changes on Amazon? And there is, because they found one.
Yeah.
So what you
Camel.
Yes, Ben. There you go, Ben. So, but this tracks like the price of products, and sometimes the products can vary so much that that the difference could be 50% on a given day or a given month.
Wow.
Also, they also showed that if you wanted to buy like a big piece of white goods, like a washing machine or something, if you go onto Germany's version of Amazon, it can actually be cheaper to get it from there than it is the UK version of Amazon.
Wow.
Okay. There is also the Amazon app, and within the app, there's like a camera button where you can scan a barcode. So if you're in a supermarket or in a shop, I don't know, let's just say, yeah, you're in an electrical store and you see something in there you like a TV, you could scan the barcode and up pops the price on Amazon, and you could use it to see if you could get a better deal in the shop. Did you know that?
You can also they do. There's it's, I suppose you'd call it facial recognition, but like object recognition on Amazon as well. Like you can scan the front of a book, or you can scan like a toothbrush or something, and it'll go, oh, you want toothbrushes, or oh, you want that book that has a title, and it will tell you what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was also then talking about goods on there that shouldn't be sold on there and can be faulty or fake goods, and how Amazon try to not control it or can't control it because there's millions of products online. Yeah, it was just quite an eye opener actually for me. I was kind of like, yeah.
Is that on, James? Is that on Channel 4?
Channel 4, mate.
I'm gonna check that out.
Cool, thanks, Bryce. It's really good, really interesting.
Ben, what's your first nerd scene?
I've been mainlining the back catalogue of the Do Go On podcast because
Nice.
I really enjoy that podcast, and I've listened to like 20 that I've listed down here in the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
They're all really good. I won't go through the entire list, but one that I do want to pick out because it's so interesting as a story. It's unbelievable. James, let me just say, do you know what Do Go On as a podcast is?
No.
Okay, so it's 3 Australian comedians, 2 guys and a girl. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. It's Matt Stewart, Dave Warnocky,
and Jess.
And Jess Perkins.
Perkins,
there we go. Got it. And basically, they are comedians. What they do is they take in turns. 1 week, for example, Jess will do a report on a factual story from history. The next week, someone else will do a report on a factual story from history, and listeners can suggest things to talk about. For example, the history of McDonald's, or Bonnie and Clyde, or the Y2K bug, or the one that I really enjoyed recently, which was the last Japanese soldiers, and in particular, one soldier called Hiro Onoda. Now, Hiro Onoda went into an island off the Philippines called, I think it's called Lubang Island, on the 26th of December 1944, and he surrendered off of that island. Let me just see here, in February 1974.
What?
So he carried on fighting the Second World War. His job on that island was to carry out sort of guerrilla attacks on like any allied forces that were there, any sort of the villages, like the people who were like the fishermen who were there. He basically just for years stayed on the island, didn't believe that Japan had surrendered, and ignored every single piece of leaflet that was dropped or announcements that were made by speakers that it would then just explode and shoot, that the war was over, because he didn't believe it. He didn't believe that the war was over. So he stayed on that island for 30 years fighting the Second World War.
Crazy.
Insane.
Absolutely insane. It's a fantastic episode. The podcast is great. It's really funny. Everyone's a little bit down in the dumps at the moment, and that, whilst it's good fun listening, I enjoy all the podcasts I listen to, that one consistently literally every 5 minutes I'm in stitches. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Cool.
Anyway, that was my first nerd scene.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. This is my last deep one. Okay, I'm sorry. But you know how I've been looking into stoicism lately?
Yeah.
Yep.
Practicing stoicism. I signed up for an online course from thedailystoic.com called Taming Your Temper. Now, I don't think I necessarily have an issue with my anger. I'm not like a particularly angry person, but I do get very frustrated about some things. And I certainly find that my professional life could do with a little bit more stoicism in it. And I've talked about this on the podcast quite a lot with Ryan Holiday's books, Obstacle is the way, and Ego is the enemy, and Stillness is the key. Marcus Aurelius' meditations, those sorts of things. So I took on this course. It's a 10-day course. You actually get 12 emails. So it's 12 days worth of emails. So you get like a pre-course day and then a wrap-up day at the end, right? And each day is just it's a very, very long email. So it's like an essay that you read and it gives you an activity to do, and it gives you an activity worksheet to write up and do some practices. And then at the end in the last one, it gives you this checklist of like identifying your anger and just like, why are you angry and can you put it in perspective? Now, again, I want to highlight that I don't have an anger issue. I don't have anger management issues, but it just was a way of me working through some of the Stoic principles to deal with some of my frustrations in life. We all have frustrations in life, and certainly this time. And I just wanted to do a shout out for it because I thought it was excellent. It was a really good thing. It took hardly any time at all. About 11 o'clock in the morning, I would get an email and I would sit down, just take a bit of time, put some music on just to shut the world out, read it, and then do the exercise. And there were things like in there, for example, there are things like finding a mantra. So just something that you can say to yourself that will allow you to get through things, a short phrase, or finding like your for lack of a better term, fortress of solitude, like Superman, right? So Marcus Aurelius has in one of his meditations, he says that you don't need to go on vacation to relax and let off steam. All you need to do is go on a vacation in the mind, find your inner place of solace, and you take time and you breathe and you think about that place. And it was an exercise in doing that and figuring out a place in your head. Anyway, just wanted to give a shout out to it because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I thought I would be doing it from an academic point of view to sort of learn and grow while we're in lockdown. But actually, I found it a pleasure to do. So I highly recommend if anyone's interested in Stoicism or philosophy, check out dailystoic.com and have a look at the courses they've got on there because they're pretty good.
So just looking at what you just talked about, like you identify your anger and say, why am I angry? It says, am I actually just hungry or in a bad mood?
Yeah.
What sort of, so how is that all linked? It's because you're fasting at the same time as well. So surely that has an effect on your mood as well.
So it may do, but I'm used to fasting now, so that's something that I've managed, and my body is more insulin sensitive.
Yes.
And I think what that's asking there is the more generic term of those carb dips that a lot of people have, crashes and things, and I think we all three of us can agree in the past, and I think James, you're a much more food conscious person than either Ben or I were in the past, but now Ben and I definitely are as well. That a lot of people would have a dip and they'll be like, oh, I'm really hungry right now and that's pissing me off. So that's just that first question to ask yourself. But that's this checklist at the end, which I'd share with you guys, but I think as it's part of the course, I'm not sure we should share it necessarily with the whole of the listeners. But there's questions on there like, how long have I been doing what I'm doing? Do I need a break from it? Yeah. Am I feeling okay physically? Is there something? Have I got like a pain in my leg that's bothering me a lot? So is that making me angry? And then the perspective stuff is like, have I ever done the action that's angering me to someone else? Therefore, do I need to have perspective on whether I'm doing this? If I get upset, is this going to make things better or worse? And it's just it's a way of going, just stop. Have a think. And I really enjoyed the course, and I would be more than happy to do more Daily Stoic courses on there, because it was so easy, and I feel like I really learned something about myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. That's my second nerd scene.
Cool. Okay, so my second nerd scene is that I have now finished Westworld. So season 3 finale was on TV on Monday. I can't say too much about it because Ben and Nate, I understand that you are going to watch it.
Yeah,
Is that
I will
correct?
at some point. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Then I'll just leave it like that.
Could you say if you enjoyed it?
Will that have an impact though on whether you watch it or not?
No, it won't have an impact. I intend to watch it no matter what.
Okay, so I think, in my opinion, that it was enjoyable. Yes.
Oh, that was tentative, Ben.
It was, wasn't it? I'm not so sure about that.
I think it was better than season 2.
Oh, that's
okay.
good. That's good because I thought season 2 took a dip.
Yeah, I liked the premise of season 3 more, but it was a bit of a roller coaster ride.
But is that? And don't spoil anything for me. But is it fair to say that season 2 was a continuation of season 1, so it's kind of more of the same, whereas season 3 appears to be a new setup in new situations with the characters that you've grown to be interested in, doing new things in new locations.
Oh,
so
you've summed up very well, Nate.
Right,
yes.
so it's fresh. It's fresh, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. then I'm more excited to watch it. Then that's great. It's definitely on the list.
Good.
Ben, what's on your next list of nerd scene?
I won't hang on for this one very long. I watched Bad Education starring Wolverine, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. And the true story it's based on, which I've talked about on this podcast in the past, is unbelievable, and it is well worth your time. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, so it's not too long. It's not like an action, fast-paced, sort of Marvel movie. It's a talky movie based on a true story where people do things they shouldn't do and get caught, and it's great. Really enjoyed it. That's it. Bad Education, starring Hugh Jackman, also known as Wolverine.
Cool. Wow, that was bullet points. Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go into it too much because I don't want to spoil it. It's only just come out. I know it's difficult for some people to lay their hands on it. I managed to lay my hands on it from someone I'm very, very appreciative to, and I watched it with the wife, and we really enjoyed it. Yeah,
it's
really
Alison Janney as well, isn't it? Is it Alison Janney?
Alison Janney is wonderful in
She's
this
great.
film. Absolutely wonderful. And there's I don't know who plays her. I should have looked it up, but there's a student on a school newspaper, just played by a young actress, and she is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm gonna look her up right now.
Is it Welker White? Was it the character Mary Ann?
Probably. Let's have a look here. Bad Education. Here we go.
No,
it's all right.
It's
okay. No. Yeah, hang on. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look.
I do want to see it. It actually does look very good. We talked about it on the podcast on Broken News some time ago, I think.
Yes, we did.
She's called Rachel Bagava, and she's played by, that's her character's name. She's played by Geraldine Viswanthanan. And
easy for you to say.
Absolutely. It's Viswanthan. Anyway, she's brilliant. She basically she plays this like I said, this reporter of a high school newspaper, and Alison Janney's like trying to put her off. Go away! Don't talk to me about these things. I'm not caring about your news story. It's a good news story. We're building this thing. It's going to be great for the school. They're going to build like a skywalk that connects one side of the school to the other, and you can get across from either side of the campus really, really quickly. But the girl's realizing that, well, this is going to cost millions, but the roof is leaking, and we're going to build this, but the roof's leaking. And she starts to peel back layers, and suddenly she uncovers everything, and she puts it in the school newspaper, and then it gets picked up by like the New York Times, and then the entire world explodes for these people. It's brilliant.
Seen you weren't going to say much about it, Ben. You kind of went off.
Yeah,
we did poke at him a little bit to give.
I didn't.
Right, let me do mine.
I did not poke the bear.
No, I did. You're right. It was me. My third on the list is I know I've spoken about Barry, the TV show, before, but we mainlined season 2. We watched season 2 in about 3 days. there is one particular episode in season 2 which is the best TV I've ever seen. Absolutely, it was hilarious, fantastic, and it's actually directed by Bill Hader, who's the main character in Barry as well. I think it won an Emmy. I would say it's just more of the same. Yes, Ben.
I watched episode 1 and I really enjoyed it.
Great.
Of season 1.
Yes, it gets better from episode 1, a lot better. A lot of people have seen Barry. There's a delay on it. Now season 3 should be coming at some point, I think.
I think it's delayed because of what's happening right now, but it'll be coming soon.
But Bill Hader, who writes it as well, has said I think he wants to get the script right. He doesn't want to just rush it through for the sake of it. Do you know Nerdwriter1?
Yes.
The YouTube channel. He did a video about the episode that I absolutely loved, and it was worth watching that afterwards as well. That episode, like all the way through, it's only a half-hour episode, but it's just all the way through. Beck and I kept looking at each other, just like, what is going on in this episode? And we were just laughing our heads off. So good. Barry, recommended. Some of the best TV out there.
Cool.
JB, you got some great ones on your list.
So the ones that I've got on my list are some of X-Men Evolution and some of X-Men on Disney Plus. And the reason why I've put some of is, I'll tell you, I will try and be as brief as I possibly can. Not this weekend gone, but the weekend before, the children were just chilling out and they've got their Amazon Prime tablets, which is all about, it's lockdown for age and everything else like this. And I'm making breakfast and I can hear my youngest Lois watching something. I think, I was pretty sure that sounds like Professor Xavier. I'm like, she can't be watching that. So I have a look and I said, Lois, what are you watching? And she said, Daddy, I'm watching X-Men Evolution. I'm like, no, you're not. And she was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, I did not know this was on Amazon Prime. So whilst I can, I thought I'd sit down and watch some of it with her and see how scary it was. And she seemed pretty cool with it. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to roll with it. And I think there's 4 seasons. And she's nailed all of them in about a week and a half. So I don't know how that relates to me as a parent. And
that's brilliant.
Watch a lot of TV, but this girl knows more about X-Men than I do. So I was sat down. I came in and she was having a chill out time and was watching it, and I went, who's this guy who's in this like container full of water? And she said, I can't remember his name, Daddy, but he's Professor Xavier's brother. And I went, Professor Xavier hasn't got a brother, Lois. Or so I thought. And then as you guys know, I then text you and you were like, yeah, he's got a brother called Juggernaut. I was like, what? And then I said, is the man called Juggernaut, Lois? And she was like, yes, Daddy. And then she was telling me about Mystique's dad and all this. So I'm just like, oh my God. So she has mainlined all of that, all of the evolution. It is actually pretty good. So from the bits that I've watched, it felt like it had all of the X-Men movies in there. There's towards the end of the season, there's Apocalypse and how the X-Men and Magneto and everyone come together to try and defeat Apocalypse. It's showing lots of the backstories and it within the series as well about Wolverine, etc. Yeah, absolutely top notch. So then I knew that there was X-Men on Disney Plus, so she started watching some of that as well. Now,
this is X-Men the animated series, right?
X-Men, yes, please. Yeah, Ben, thank you. Yeah, so this is X-Men the animated series, and I don't think it's as good. I remember watching it when I was younger. Okay, the animation I don't think is good. I find that the caricatures of the characters like Jean Grey, they're quite revealing as well. I mean, I don't know. It does. I'm not sure about it, but she's enjoying it, and I don't really see too much of an issue with it. So if people want to damn me as a parent, then fine. But I'm just going with the flow, and if she's interested, she's interested. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, let her go her own way, mate. I like it. I like it.
It's based on the X-Men the animated series is based on the Jim Lee run in the comics, which was, prime 90s. Like, all the men had more muscles than any human being has ever had. They all had super pouches. All the women were standing in poses that they could never actually do, that made their bum stick out and their boobs stick out. They all had waists that could never hold all their organs inside them. It's ultra 90s turned up to 11, and then they made the animated series like based on those designs. I think for the time it was excellent TV, but I think you're probably right. It's probably aged poorly. But yeah, wow, that's great. I love that your little girl's watching that.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, and she's actually rewatching Evolution again. So
wow,
she's just, and I just said to her, the other day, who's your favorite character? Jean's my favorite character. Boom, but great choice.
She could. I tell you what else is there. There's Spider-Man, the animated series. You might want to try that.
Yeah, I know. I was looking on Disney Plus. I saw that you can go Marvel for. There's a section in there, Marvel through the ages. So it starts off because I think there's. Is it Spider-Woman?
Yeah, Spider-Woman. Yeah.
That's like the start of it. So when I couldn't find X, I was like, "Where's X-Men Evolution then?" But it's not. It's completely separate.
Okay, it's different studio, is it? Different.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's some good animation on there that she might enjoy. Anyway, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. Yeah, it's great. So there you go.
Ben, what's your next one on the list?
Again, I'll try and be brief. I finished You season 1, the Netflix TV show You, and I've started season 2, like 2 episodes into that. And season 2 has taken the series away from New York, and they've gone to LA. Because he had to get away after what happened in season 1, and it's again really good. And again, it's based on a book. I think she's called Caroline Kepnes or something like that. So the first season is based on a book about this chap, and the second season is based on her follow-up. So I was a little bit worried it was going to be like what was that TV show that I recommended to you, Nate? Won all the Emmys, and the first season was based on a book, and the second season wasn't.
13 Reasons.
No.
Oh, you're talking. No, you're talking about the one with Reese Witherspoon in. Yeah,
Reese Witherspoon. What's it called?
Little Big Lies.
Yes.
Big Little Lies. Big Little
Lies. Yeah.
So I was worried that the second season wasn't going to be based on the book, and it was going to veer way too far away from like the source material and become a bit more fantastical.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and it was based on her follow-up book, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. And it's good. It's good. It's just as good as season 1. And the sort of twist ending to episode 1 of season 2 is like, what? It's great. Absolutely brilliant. Really enjoying it. It's the sort of program, though, that the hero of it is a bad guy.
Right, okay. So they're like the protagonist rather than the hero. Right, okay.
Yeah, the person you're following, the person you should be rooting for, and you kind of do find yourself rooting for, is not a nice person in any way, shape, or form. And you just know that whilst he's trying to be nice and do a nice thing, he is about to destroy everyone around him, because that's just simply what he does. It's good. It's good binge watch TV. JB, I think you and Alison would like it. I'm not so sure about you, Nate.
No, I think we've said this before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I shall speed through this one. So I've talked about this before. Got this for Christmas. The board game Star Wars Rebellion. It's a massive board game. The reason I've put it on here is it took us 2 nights to play it. It's a 2-player game. You can have a 4-player variant where you have 2 players on each team, and it is the Imperials versus the Rebels, and it plays so well, and it's so much fun, and it makes you feel like you're in Star Wars. The Imperials have all the resources. They've got so many ships, and they can just decimate the Rebels, and the Rebels have nothing, and they're trying desperately to hide from the Imperials, and it's just great fun. And I've been playing a lot of board games, Board Game Arena online, but I just said to Becca, I said, I'm fed up with looking at screens. Can we just play a board game, please? Like a real world one. And seeing as our Rebellion is A, so much fun, B, Star Wars. We did it on May the 4th without even realizing. I literally just said, I want to play a board game. Can we get Star Wars out? And we're like, oh shit, it's May the 4th. And yeah, and it was just really just great fun. So, JB,
How many players? How many players?
So it's two players, but you can do a 4-player variant. So because it's the Imperials versus the Rebels,
Right.
that's 2-player, but you can have 2 players as Rebels and 2 players as Imperials, because
Okay.
there's the combat in it. There's space battles and land battles, so you can have like an admiral and a general.
Okay.
Nathan, can I ask a question? Have you actually won a game of this yet?
No, I have as yet won. It's very frustrating. I've played it 3 times. The first 2 times I was the Imperials, and I was like, stomp, 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 I'm so great, rah, 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 rah. And then the Rebels swooped in at the last moment and beat me. And this time I was the Rebels, and I was like, oh, I know how to play this, and was just completely cavalier and got wiped out.
Oh my God.
And the guy said, yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Anyway, yeah. JB, what's your next on the list?
So I am watching SAS Who Dares Win Celebrity Edition. Alice and I absolutely love this show. It's the same premise for every single show, but we still find it very enjoyable. This is the celebrity version, and the SAS guys don't go any easier on them. But it's really just about a journey. It's about a journey that people go on, and because of the training that they have and how they need to be able to just switch on and switch off, I actually think it's quite linked to stoicism in some way. So there's things where they put them in scenarios of high risk and high tension, and get their emotions and adrenaline running, but then you still need to have frame of mind to like understand that someone coming running towards you with a gun is either a friendly or not, and those types of things. So yeah, I find it really, really interesting. I know Ant Middleton was a bit of a dick on Twitter just before before lockdown. He said some very silly things, but generally as a guy I think he seems okay. I've read one of his books which I thought was really interesting about him and his life. Yeah, good TV, good, nice, easy watching TV.
I feel like I would really enjoy that show. I feel like something I would, like you say, just be able to just end of the day, turn your brain off, but like thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, like I said, it feels like everyone on there has a problem, and that's the reason why they've gone on there. But it's about breaking them down, showing their true selves, building them back up about it. I mean, they're really horrible when they're on doing these exercises, but then when maybe someone taps out or they've done really well, they actually are patting them on the back as well. So it's tough love, but really good. I really enjoy it.
Cool. Ben, what's your nerd scene?
My next one is The Nobody by Jeff Lemire. So it's a 144-page graphic novel, came out in 2009. It's sort of a retelling of H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. But it is an absolute masterpiece in showing, not telling. So it shows you something very, very, very important. It's a comic book, obviously. So it shows you something very, very, very important. But it doesn't tell you it's important. You know it is from just the way that the book is drawn. It's so atmospheric. Like the whole thing is like this sort of blue hue to it that feels sort of otherworldly almost. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's basically this guy walks into this small town in America one day, covered head to toe in bandages. Everyone's like, what's this guy's deal? What's going on? And straight away, a small town isn't a place for him to hide. It's a place where everyone is suspicious and everyone thinks that he's up to no good, and everyone wants to know his business, and they're going to get into his business no matter what. And things start to happen. He gets blamed, and it is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And the way that Jeff Lemire just very, very gracefully demonstrates how someone like him, bearing in mind this is based on H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man, how he represents on the page him being invisible is so simply done. It almost is staggering. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Have you read it, Nathan?
Yeah, I remember loving it too. Yeah, I had a bit of a Jeff Lemire season back in the day as well, and it's yes, very good book.
I am in that season right now.
Yeah.
I'm in that season right now. Yeah, it's great. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, so my next one is I haven't finished this yet, so I'm sure I'll talk about it on the next nerd scene that we do in 2 weeks' time. So bear with me. But I am halfway through Dune by Frank Herbert. I've been meaning to read it for ages, and then when we got the stills released from the new movie a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the push. That's the shove that's going to push me into the I'm halfway through it, and I'm really loving it. It's far more fantasy than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be deep sci-fi, but it's actually got a real fantasy side to it. But yeah, it's great. You can see why it's a classic. It's written in a really interesting way. There's stuff about it that you're kind of lost sometimes, but on purpose. And it's written in a way that's like, oh, I don't really know what they're talking about. And then a chapter later, they just explain what that thing is. So it's got some really interesting religious subtexts. Got some. I hadn't realized before starting reading it, but then looking up some stuff online, there's quite a lot of Islamic links in there, and a lot of the terms used are Islamic, and it's really interesting to see that portrayed in sci-fi. It's good. It's really good. I want to put that out there. Yeah, Dune, recommended, highly recommended.
Cool.
When was it written, Nathan?
The 60s, I believe. 1965, something like that.
Interesting.
I'm
gonna look it up, aren't you?
Look it up. 1965, yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, well done.
It's part of a series. I didn't realize that when I started reading again. I knew there were other books, but I didn't know that they necessarily mattered. So there's 5 sequels to it: Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune, Heretics of Dune, and Chapter House: Dune. But I believe you can read the first novel as a standalone, which is what I intend to do, because I've got tons of other stuff to read in lockdown. But yeah, Dune, highly recommended.
James, would you like to place a bet on whether or not that Nathan will actually read any of the other books at all in the future? Because I'm going to say right now, I bet all the money I have that within the next 5 years he would have read them all.
Oh, I reckon if we're still in lockdown, he'd have read them in the next month. Absolutely no problems. Absolutely no. And in fact, he may not. He may still, if we do come out of lockdown, he may still live in lockdown. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
All right, James, what's your next on your list?
So following the book theme, boring for everybody, but I have now officially put Go Set a Watchman back on the bookshelf list. It is gone. I tried. I failed. I tried. It's gone. I'm now watching. I've started to read, as of last night, Alex Ferguson's My Autobiography, and I'm done. There you go.
JB, you didn't fail.
did.
No, you didn't. I absolutely 100% believe this statement. If a book is not holding your attention, bin it.
Yeah,
there are so many books in this world that you could read. There's so much trash that's so entertaining. There's so much highbrow that's really boring. If it's not holding your attention, bin that damn thing.
Yeah, damn right. Damn right. Should have done it. It's 100 pages too late in my world.
Yeah. How's Alex Ferguson's My Autobiography?
I'm about 3 pages in. Just
fair enough.
A
Okay.
little bit of a backstory, saying thank you, and a little bit more about that. But so far, so good. I'm a Man United fan, so the fact that I haven't read it is probably bad. But again, I got it bought for me, and it's just been sat on my shelf. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to read this.
Nice. I'd recommend after this one, JB, Gary Neville's autobiography, Red. That's very good as well.
Okay. All right, mate. Thanks very much for that recommendation.
No worries. Is it back to me?
It's back to me. Yeah.
Okay. Again, won't spend very long. Haven't finished this. About almost 70 pages into. I'm reading a book for the first time in a long time. It's called A Once Crowded Sky, and it's by Tom King.
Tom King.
Yes, Tom King. He of comic book writing fame. He formerly in the CIA and formerly served in Iraq. He used to be writing Batman and wrote Mr. Miracle and wrote what else did he write? What's he called? The Visions.
Vision. Yeah.
Okay, so the premise of A Once Crowded Sky is as follows. It's not set in Marvel or DC's universe. It's the heroes and villains living in Arcadia City. And an event happened where this villain, you don't know anything about it at the moment, called the Blue, came down and was going to destroy everything and everyone. And all the heroes and all the villains showed up and gave their powers to this one superhero called Ultimate, the man with the metal face, who sacrificed himself with all of their powers to save everyone. Now, Ultimate had a sidekick called Penultimate, who had retired and didn't show up that day. Therefore, he is the only person left in the world with superpowers. And it's sort of following how the heroes and the villains kind of really hate that guy because he's still got his powers, and they're not dealing with the fact they don't have their powers. It's like 6 months later, it skips on, and everyone's missing the man with the metal face, Ultimate, and Penultimate's missing him, but he doesn't kind of know how to express it, and he's trying to get on and do the right thing. But honestly, it's brilliant. The world building is superbly done, and I cannot wait to read more. It's really, really good. First book I've read in a little while, and I'm really enjoying it.
Sounds really fascinating. Great little concept, premise, especially if you're coming from a superhero sort of background and fan of comic books. That sounds like a really great jump into a novel. And also, there's pedigree there because he's a comic book writer. So
yeah, I think this was the first thing he wrote. I think he did this and then moved into comic books. And a couple of the pages in the book have actually got artwork in them, but it's like 2 pages right at the start and then maybe a page, I don't know, around page 40 or something like that. But other than that, it's all just prose, it's all just text. But it's great. Really, really
Cool.
good. I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Back to you, Nathan.
Well, I've got 2, but I'll do them really quickly because they're not complete things, and they're both Star Wars things. We are carrying on with our Clone Wars rewatch. It's a Clone Wars watch, and I feel like I need to defend it because we're only in season 1 still. They're only 20-minute episodes, so we really should have mainlined it. But they're kind of the thing that we put on, like, oh, we've got a gap, or we're going to have dinner, or do you know what I mean? It's that thing you put on. And I think that there was a problem with the early seasons because they weren't Disney at that point. They're still a little childish, but I know from the quality of Rebels, and I know from the stuff I've seen online and the leaks I've seen, that, you know, seasons 3 and 4 and 5 and the later seasons are really intense and really rich, and I've just got to sort of get to them, if you like. And we are committed to it because there's quite a lot of season 1 is good, very good. There's just a couple where it's like Jar Jar Binks is in it right now, and this is utter terrible TV. It's seriously, anytime Jar Jar's in it's really bad. But there is some really great stuff in there. And then the other Star Wars thing, on May the 4th, on Monday, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was on half-price sale on Google Play. So I downloaded it for my phone. I haven't played it since it came out in 2003, I'm gonna say.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
It was one of the first games that allowed you to do like choice, so you could change the way that you did things, and that changed how people perceived you and how your character developed. You could become an evil character, so a Sith, or you could become a hero character, a Jedi, and the more you did in that direction, it changes how those other characters interact with you and therefore have a story developed. So it's one of the first games that really did that. Even like I've only been playing it for a couple of hours, and like, so it's set in the Old Republic, so it's set hundreds of years before Star Wars. You know, the Sith have an army, and I've killed a Sith warrior, and I stole his uniform, and I'm running around in the Sith armor. And just that act of wearing different clothes, everyone in the game is reacting to me differently. And this is a game from 2003. I think that's really clever, and I remember loving it when it first came out. It's very, very popular. It's so popular that it's, you know, it was still £10 on Google Play. So, you know, in the half-price sale, it was £4.80 something. So yeah, I saw that and I thought, yep, I'm going to give that a go. And it's now my little phone game when I want to lose my brain for half an hour. I just lay back on the sofa and play a bit of KOTOR, as it's known, Knights of the Old Republic.
Do you need to pay for add-ins as well, or is it you've paid for it now, you don't need to pay anymore?
Yeah, no, that's it. You get the whole game.
Cool.
So
Nice.
it was a flagship game on the original Xbox. So
Wow.
pre Xbox 360, and
So
so
is it okay playing it on the phone?
Yeah. Because a lot of it is kind of point and click anyway, because it's an RPG type game. So a lot of it is
Yes.
going to your menus and sorting out your armor and sorting out your weapons. To move the character, a lot of that is also click on that thing over there or click on that thing over here. So it is quite easy to navigate, because you kind of use the top of the screen and you swipe or sort of move left, move right, and it pans the camera. You don't need to move like a first person shooter. It's third person. So
Okay.
yeah. So that's all of my nerd scene. James, what have you got on a nerd scene?
Oh, I've got 2 things left, and they couldn't be any more different. So I'm going to try and see if I can see if I can join this together.
I love it.
So I have mentioned before that I was watching Too Hot to Handle, which is a Netflix show based on an episode of Seinfeld, but I can't remember the name of the episode off the top of my head, where you basically get sex crazed maniacs on an island where they're not allowed to kiss or have sex and try and find their true selves. I watched the last one. It was a bit crap, but I enjoyed the psychology.
Oh,
I enjoyed the psychology of all of it, and how, again, I love a journey. I love a people journey. So it was watchable. There is a Where Are They Now type of episode coming out on Friday. I will watch it.
Yes. Well, of course, you've got to complete it. You've got to have the complete story.
Yeah. Well, I think that they'll probably tell tales of where they are now.
Oh,
so
no.
that links in nicely to Disney Plus. My girls and I found Ducktales. My goodness. Yes. Not phony tales, but Ducktales.
Oh, that's great.
Can I tell you what? Once that theme tune gets in your head, you will hum that all day. And I tell you what, it hasn't aged too badly. I forgot about Launchpad McQuack. Oh my God. Absolutely love this show. The girls love it as well. We can just sit down, watch it, chill out, and they're humming the theme tune. You know, I'm reminiscing about my childhood. They're understanding something that I loved. I can't lovely little bit of bonding around a TV screen. I mean, what more can you need? Don't need anything. Don't want to be talking or reading or doing anything like that. Just
it sounds lovely that it's timeless. Like it seems like it's, you know, you enjoyed it as a kid, that your kids can enjoy it as well.
Exactly. I think I know that they did do a new series quite recently, but I've never watched it.
It's got David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. So yes, but whilst I'm just on this subject of old Disney shows, I can't. Do either of you remember Tailspin?
Yes, yeah. I for as a child, for some reason, I thought Tailspin and Ducktales were in the same universe, but they're totally not.
They're not. But I cannot find Tailspin on Disney Plus.
Oh, interesting.
I may have spelt it wrong. I feel like Ben is searching for it. So if he is,
no,
okay.
No, I'm not. Sorry.
But anyway, because I can do. I know the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers are on there. I know the Gummy Bears are there, but Tailspin does not seem to be there.
Well, do you? Okay, on that, do you remember Darkwing Duck?
Darkwing Duck, no, but it is on there.
Yeah, I remember Darkwing Duck. That was kind of my era of childhood. I used to love DuckTales, but Darkwing Duck was just as I was sort of peak age for it.
I think Launchpad McQuack is in Darkwing Duck, is he not?
He is, yes, he is.
He's like his thing. So,
psychic, yeah. And there's Gizmo Duck. There wasn't a show on its own, but Gizmo Duck is a character in DuckTales. He's like RoboCop, but for ducks.
Oh my God, I love a RoboCop duck.
Yeah, you got.
I'm looking up Tailspin. Is Baloo from the Jungle Book is in Tailspin?
Yes, and I think Shere Khan is the guy that owns the company that he's fighting against.
Yeah. Do you not know this, Ben? Do you not Tailspin?
No.
Yeah. But you can see why I confused it, because they're the sort of Jungle Book characters and Disney characters,
and they both have the word tail in it. But
they're also in adventures that aren't their original adventures. So I was like, oh, well, those animated characters must be in the same world. But yeah. Ben, what's the last thing on your nerd scene?
The last thing on my nerd scene is, and purely because we're recording this on Wednesday night. Tomorrow for us, Thursday, season 4, part 2 of Rick and Morty arrives on the UK, the 6th episode, which is apparently very good. So I just thought I'd get myself back into a bit of a Rick and Morty kick by watching some of the episodes rated 9.0 or above on IMDb, and I just had a bloody great time watching them. I'll give you the ones I watched. Me Seeks and Destroy, Rick Potion number 9. Rick Potion number 9 is incredibly relevant right now. Because it's all to do with this love potion that gets passed around during flu season. And how it completely ruins the world, and how a crazy scientist tries to come up with a way to just quickly get rid of it and destroys everything. Brilliant. That was brilliant. Close Encounters of the Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, Total Recall, The Ricks Must Be Crazy, The Wedding Squanchers, The Rick Shank Redemption, sorry, I'm butchering this. Pickle Rick, Rest and Rick Laxation, and the Rick Lantis Mix-Up. The Rick Lantis Mix-Up being probably the best episode of the lot.
Is that season 3?
That's season 3, and it's the one where Rick and Morty go to Atlantis, and then the story goes to the Citadel that had been destroyed. Sorry, James, spoilers, but it's now back, and it's just superb. Absolutely superb. JB, for the love of God, please watch Rick and Morty. It's so good.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I want you to watch it as well, JB, but I really don't know if it is your sort of thing. It's weird. It's Ren and Stimpy for our age, and I didn't like them back in there. I know I didn't like it either, but it is good. It is very funny.
What I can say is I didn't think I was going to like Rick and Morty. My son and you, Nate, were saying, watch Rick and Morty. It's good fun. It's really good. You'll really enjoy it. You'll get a lot out of it. I was like, animated show. Oh, I'm not so sure. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. And I watched the first couple of episodes. I was like, Jesus, this is really good. And then I watched Me Seeks and Destroy. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, this program is incredible. And then I watched... Right after that is Rick Potion number 9, and I was like, "Holy crap! This program, this little funny, rude, sweary animated TV program is unbelievably deep and meaningful, and
it's got layers.
It's got so many layers. You can just laugh at the fart jokes, and you can have a great time with some of the comedy that you see on the screen, or you can look at it and go, "Holy Jesus Christ! Did that just really happen?" It's brilliant, JB. Honestly, it's so good. It's worth your time. And the episodes are 20 minutes each on Netflix. 20-minute episodes on Netflix. You will inhale that in 2 days.
Mate, I know, but at the moment I haven't got control of my Netflix or my TV because X-Men or Ducktales are being absolutely rinsed.
Right, boys, this has been one of the longest pods in a long time, but it's been absolute great fun. Ben, where can people find us to tell us about what they've been nerd scening and what they think of our nerd scenes?
They can find us on social media, so on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Nerds Chatting, all one word, Nerds Chatting. You will find us. Or you can use the hashtag nerdschatting. We'll find you. You can download this podcast on Podbean, which is nerdschatting.podbean.com. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It's on Spotify. We're on YouTube as well, which is youtube.com/nerdschatting. You can send us an email, nerdschatting@outlook.com. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Now, there's some speculation that next week we might be doing Ghostbusters 2.
Speculation, yes.
Not confirmed, but it's coming soon. We'll be doing a review of that, we think, soon. But other than that, a couple of weeks' time, we'll be back for some more Broken News and Nerdscene. But all that's left is to say goodbye and thanks for listening.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye-bye.
So this
Who's
is
starting?
nerd scene. This is nerd scene. This is where we talk about
hang
stuff.
on.
What?
You got to do it again. JB, shut up. We've got to get the cut in, mate. We've got to get the cut in.